I'm Hunter Wade at the Athletes Lounge podcast. I'm here with my guest.
Robert Meier, Bob Meier from Castle High School.
So, Coach, how are you coach girls basketball, and how's the preseason outlook for your team looking so far?
Looking good. We were young last year, and by grade we would be young this year. We will probably look to start three sophomores, and um, a lot of times that kind of would make me leery. But they play so much basketball through the course of the year through AAU, so they've got a lot of experience. They do a lot of training outside of that, so we feel really good that maybe from at least the kind of the basketball athletic standpoint that we have some girls that are somewhat seasoned and have seen some good competition and have had their share of successes and had their share of failures and have learned to find a way to overcome them. So even though grade wise we're young, we do feel like that we're going to have some girls that have been in the mix a little bit, and then we'll probably the other starters will be a junior and a senior. So we feel we can put five um, solid basketball players to start on the floor, and then we'll fill in. We should be able to fill in nicely around them.
As a coach, how big of a relief is it when you have players that have been so seasoned and are so young, so they still have room to grow?
Well, it just gives you a level of comfort. It gives you a feeling that maybe you can do a little bit more with this team, that you can expect a little bit more from them because they've been in some of those situations where they've maybe had to adapt a little bit. They've had to be flexible on their end just because they've would have encountered another team that does something that maybe they've not seen or they're not used to. So it's our feeling that we'll be able to adjust maybe a little quicker than maybe other teams. But yeah, we're excited to see what they're capable of, and we think they've done enough of that where we know we're going to encounter some things that are going to be a challenge, and we think we'll be able to make some adjustments a little quicker than normal.
We're recording this on November 2nd, and your opener is November 4th, right?
Yes, against Jeffersonville.
Yeah. So, what is the preparation like at this point of the season? Is there any film you could actually go over for Jefferson Jeffersonville, or is it all just kind of just making sure you have your own stuff worked out?
We've pulled up Jeffersonville's game of last year. They had a new coach last year, so just maybe he has a tendency or two that we might be able to adapt in regards to did they full court press, and yes they did. Did they trap on the press? Yes they did. Did they do a little half court trapping? Yes they did. So just by we can kind of show, we don't show a lot, but we show them a few clips to say, hey, this is what they're this is what they potentially could do, and this is why we're doing some of the drills that we're doing right now in practice to prepare for that. But Jeffersonville used to play a game before us, so we always got a game film to kind of see them to prep. But that's no longer the case. We appear to be their first game as well as they're our first game. But it is over there, so they're going to have an advantage. I'm guessing that they'll be athletic. I'm guessing they'll be aggressive. And here again, hopefully we've got some girls that are going to be willing to get in there and enjoy the fight, enjoy the battle, and then be able to overcome with some of the basketball that they've played in the past.
You play a very tough schedule this year. Is that by, from how do you prepare your girls for that when your schedule's so daunting? You play a lot of really, really good schools.
That schedule is, I don't want to say by design,
Yeah.
because you don't ever know what's going to happen from one year to the next. On some weekends, we have kind of rested on the fact that we leave about 5 games or so, 4 or 5 games open, and look for a tournament to hop into. And Coach showed at North always, our last couple of years has put together a nice little tournament there and playing some tough teams. And we've got Fishers there this year, and they've had a couple number one votes, and we've got Lawrence North who's got some recognition as well. So we're going to play two teams at least preseason that are in the top 10. And that's not something that we shy away from. Like I said, that part of it's by design. The athletic director, Brandon Taylor, he asked me, how do you want to set this thing up? and we want it to be as tough as we can possibly make it. And I don't know what that looks like for us. If we can compete well, I can see it being a very positive experience. If we do not compete well, I can see how it could be a little bit demoralizing. But it's one of the things that we attempt to teach the girls is it's not just about basketball. This is about growth. It's about development. It's about diving in. It's about being uncomfortable and finding a way to overcome. And playing these type of teams will do it. So if we can go out and have a couple good showings, whether we get the victory or not, then we're hoping that we can spin that into some motivation in regards to here, look, you don't get the recognition that you deserve, but when you're locked in, you can compete with at least two the prognosticators feel are the top teams in the state, and this is who you're going to have to challenge and beat if you want to achieve some goals that you've set to achieve.
In about a month span, you play Gibson Southern, Central, North, Owensboro Catholic, Jasper, Fishers, and Lawrence North. Is that early part of the schedule kind of built to prepare you for the sectionals?
Yes. Yeah. And it doesn't slow down going into December. Right before Christmas break, we go up and play the Walt Raines Classic this year, which is up in Franklin, and we'll play a couple solid teams up there. So this whole thing is built with the idea that sectional is the most important thing, and we might take some bumps along the way. Probably the coaches understand a little bit more than the players do at times, but there's going to be some bumps along the way. But if you can learn how to deal with the bumps and have more success than failure, then come sectional time, you're in a good position to realize, what, you've played the best around this area, you've played the best in the state. Now just go in and go out and just play better than who you're playing against.
So what's the different preparation like? And I'll use Gibson Southern and North as an example because they've had their coaches have remained the same for over the last few years. What's the difference in prepping for schools like that to prepping for a school like Wrights when Wrights has a brand new coach?
Probably not a ton, just because for or at least what I've noticed on the girls' side of it is that styles can change yearly, whether the coach is the same coach or not. Just because with girls, you need to really tailor it to who you have, and you need to do that on the boys' side as well. But probably there's a little more athleticism on the boys' side. But as far as the girls are concerned, we try to make sure we're hitting the basics of things. We play Gibson Southern and North early, so they'll like us, they'll have some stuff in, but they're not going to have everything in like they would at the end of the year. But we also know that they're going to throw us a wrench every once in a while. Wrights is a January game, so they're going to have more in. And Wrights is going to be a solid team this year. I've not got a chance to meet their coach yet, but they've got some athletes out there. I know they've got some size out there, so they're going to definitely be a contender in the SIC. But back to the original question of how to prepare. And so we always spend time on who we're playing, but I'm of the mindset that if we take care of our stuff, help side is always help side. The way we guard a screen and roll. If they can't shoot, we're going under. If they can shoot, we're fighting over the top, or we're going to try. If we feel like that they can't gain an advantage by the screen, we're switching everything. So, we won't have to change game plans too much. Number one, there just won't be a lot of game film to see on them to do those things. So we just kind of hit some stuff that maybe they've kind of dealt with in the past, and what we might see going forward, and that's how we've tended to prep in the past.
I will say I actually released Coach Stone at Wright's episode today, so that's coincidental.
Fantastic! I'll be anxious to meet him.
Yeah, so at this point in the year, you've had all your girls for. Did you get pretty much most of your girls right when you could get them? You didn't have any still stuck in volleyball?
We have one that's playing in the state tournament this weekend, which is awesome. We'll go support her and the other girls after our game on Saturday. We had a couple girls that were in soccer, Elena Quinn, Peyton Mitchell. and they'll both be starters for us as well. So there were some girls that we didn't have, but as far as the majority of the team, we had them at fall open gyms, and were able to kind of keep them involved and moving down some of the stuff that we wanted to move down in regards to offensive thoughts, especially. And so didn't have a lot in fall sports, but the ones we did have are definitely important parts of what we're doing.
Right now, what do you think, for at least this team, what do you think your defensive and offensive philosophy is going to be like?
I mean, our defense it's um, we just got to attempt to be tougher
Yeah.
than who we're playing against. We don't have a lot of size. Unfortunately, we lost who would have been our starting center this year. Her name is Lola Allen. For the second year in a row, she's torn her ACL, same knee, so she is out. So we are going to be much smaller. So we're going to have to be physical. Blocking out is going to be a big part. Big emphasis. I think the best charge, or the best play in basketball for girls, is the charge. The boys are more apt to kind of put their body on the line. Girls, not as much, but when you can convince them to do so, it really is an equalizer of things, because it's just hard to guard people in a one-on-one situation. They're going to get by you.
Yeah.
And we had a player last year, her name was Devin Barton, and I think she had about 19 taken charges on the year, and tried about another 10 more. So I don't know if we have anybody with that mindset this year yet, but we will have some that will take it, and hopefully the others will kind of buy in. Here again, if they want to achieve the goals that they want to achieve, then toughness defensively is going to be a massive part of that. As far as offensively, the faster we can play, the better, because we don't have the size. If we can beat you down court, then that's what we need to try to do to probably be at our best.
What's the biggest evolution you've made over the course of your tenure as a coach?
Probably patience. I mean, we're just dealing with a different mindset than there used to be. It's not it's not better or worse. It's just a different mindset in regards to kind of the teenage mind. Back in the day, you could probably challenge them a bit harder,
Mhm.
and not that you could get away with it. It's just it was more of a respected mindset. Challenge them to be tough, and you can still challenge them, but you do need to find a different way to word some things, and do your best to have uh, some conversations, as opposed to maybe in their mind they would view it as kind of maybe embarrassing them publicly. That you kind of just pull them aside and have those conversations, and there are still moments when, and if it needs to get louder or whatever, then, and hopefully that's not the case. But you know we just probably adapting, probably just becoming smarter and more mature myself, and realizing that you can get results in a lot of different ways, and um, probably trying to do so in a more patient way and understanding way, and talking them through is probably the better method today.
So as a coach, what's your biggest the easiest way to get playing time for your players?
Just go play hard. That's we don't we we I don't know if the word tolerates the right word, but we give the girls a lot of freedom. We necessarily don't put shot restrictions on people, but it just you got to play hard. I mean, we preach being selfless. We preach sacrifice. We preach the idea that if we're going to ask someone else to do something, then we expect everyone to do it. And it's incredibly unfair if you don't want to pull your part of the weight. Um, and like I said, we feel good right now that we have those girls. This is a very tight group of girls. A lot of them they're not just friends; they're good friends. They're not just acquaintances. A lot of them hang out together. So the idea of almost kind of like a sisterhood, where they're more willing to kind of fight for each other and get in there and endure some pain, or maybe take that hard charge. So that's that's the best way. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we can watch a lot of stuff. I mean, no one likes missed shots, no one likes turnovers, but there'll definitely be some learning moments along the way and some challenging moments. But to be consistent and try to get the best out of everyone, then just kind of asking, and then if asking doesn't work, then pretty much demanding that this is the way it's done, and hopefully they're mature enough to receive it, because they're the ones playing, and they're the ones that are not sacrificing for the other girls on the team. So hopefully the quicker they can buy into that, the better.
So on the flip side of that, what's the skill you're maybe fine with giving up the most, as long as there's hustle and grit and that type of stuff?
Probably the tightness of the way the game's played, or the purity of it. You're just, when we're trying to play fast, we just have to realize that we're probably going to invite some poor shot selection at time. Playing fast, we're probably going to invite some turnovers that we might not normally have. So it's maybe just a bit looser of a game. Trying to still, back in the day, you tried to, practice where you hit as many fundamentals as you possibly could, and I'm guessing you probably could do that today. And we do hit certain fundamentals, but we try to focus more on those fundamentals that are specific to the way that we need to play. And here again, the faster we play, the better. So learning to make decisions quicker, learning to respond to failure quicker, learning to transition back to defense quicker, helping your teammates up off the floor. All those type of things are kind of part of what we're asking them to do, but it's generally probably a little looser than it used to be.
Right now, what knowing that there's 2 games or 2 days till your first game, what's the staff doing maybe apart from the kids?
Uh, I mean, for the most part, we're kind of just prepping through some game film, but there's not a lot yet. So, going into Jeffersonville on Saturday and Gibson Southern next Tuesday, we'll have some quick conversations in regards to, hey, what are we seeing? What do we think we need a little more time on? And then we'll see how it works Saturday. And then it's a quick turnaround on Monday, so we'll probably have some quick conversations Sunday and say, hey, this is what we saw, and what do we need to do Monday to get a few more reps at something. But as the more games we play and the more games are available, then coaches will look at that Coach Mitchell, she takes care of our defense, so that's kind of what she's going to focus on as there are tapes available, making sure that not only are people in the right places and our game plans right, but if there are any tendencies that a team has, that we know how to deal with them along the way. But right now, we're just kind of talking before practice, hitting the fundamentals that we think we need to hit, and then as the games start happening, we'll have a little more specific prep from there.
What's right now? Is there anything you see in the preseason that you're maybe not a fan of from the way your teams performed in scrimmages and preseason?
I would say not a fan of. Like, so we've had some nagging injuries that have kept some girls out, and some sickness. So it's just always a challenge to try to set a practice where you're going to have 15, 18 girls there. Yesterday we had 9. We had to have one of our assistant coaches hop in and play some defense, and she was nice enough to do that to help us out. So really no frustration with the team. Energy's been good, communication's been good. We've had some good senior leadership, honest senior leadership, that's done a great job on their end to try to, fulfill that particular leadership role, and understanding that, this thing starts on Saturday, and it's in a blink of an eye, it's going to be sectionals. So I think they're taking it seriously as well. But no, nothing sticks out right now. Just every once in a while, you run a little bit light on bodies, and it's really hard to put new things in there, because you're going to just be reteaching the whole thing anew when the next day there's there. So we might hold off a day or practice or so, but No, we feel good and we're positive. Feel positive right now. And Saturday might throw all that out the window, and we aren't doing anything. We're not competing, and that would surprise us. But uh, but it's definitely something that we don't want happening.
Because of maybe some injuries and just missing I guess a singular player for volleyball. Is there anything you're a little bit hesitant to work on in practice, knowing that you're missing some pieces that will actually be performing them day in, day out?
Yeah, it's you just don't dive too much into the like offensive counters on things,
Yeah.
or some defensive things that we hope to have in as December's getting here. Some of those nuance, more of the finer motor skills, so to speak, and just kind of leaving it in the large hole. The offense we ran this summer is the one that we've continued to kind of grow and develop. The transition that we ran this summer is something we're continuing to grow and develop. But as far as the nuances in those things, everybody does need to be present. So it's just big concepts right now, and then we'll start refining it. Hopefully within the next couple 2 or 3 weeks.
Currently, is there anything that you thought you're going to be able to do coming into the season that when you saw it, you maybe had to flip course a little bit?
No, not in regards to a game plan, other than losing, our center,
Yeah.
because she was getting cleared in June and got cleared at the end of June, and had a really good, fall up until the point in time. She hurt her knee again. So at that point in time, you have to kind of look, all right, we've some of the things we thought we might be able to do with a post, that's probably not something that we're going to be able to do this year. So, in our practice prep now and game prep, we got to make sure that we're really encouraging them. We got to attack the lanes. We got to get in there. We got to be strong. We got to get on 2 feet. We got to, be moving that ball around, because they're going to be attacking, and we got to find open shooters on the outside perimeter, because that's still going to be our strength. But we've got to do a better job this year of growing our exterior strength with getting into the inside more.
So, is there any type of change in the way you plan on having the rebound when you lose your center like that?
Um, Not in regards to the way we teach it, just for the reality of it is, all right, girls, you've lost your 6-1 center now, so the person that's going to get you 10 rebounds a game isn't here. So uh, you can't be given. There are a lot of good teams around with a lot of good players, and with some good interior players, and you can't be giving them second, third chances from around the basket. Those are the games against the good teams that get you beat.
Any and I guess boxing out becomes a little bit bigger of a factor at that point. Oh man, I just blanked. What's your what is your philosophy on outside shooting? Do you prefer to get to the rim, or do you prefer to try to light teams up from outside?
Well, we have some very capable outside shooters. That one of our points of emphasis this summer was attack and attack and attack. We've got to get into the lane and get the ball out, and we did a great job of doing that. And Peyton Mitchell really did a good job of buying into that, of getting into those seams, and it's just a lot easier ball to shoot when you have a pass coming at you, and you're square with already, than having to get your shoulders turned, work on your footwork. So it really simplifies it for the shooter. Percentages go up. So we're definitely will be an exterior team, but we also know that if we want to be respected, if we want to be able to achieve some of the goals that we want to achieve, we've got to get to the basket. We've got to shoot foul shots. We've got to get teams to collapse. So if we can't, or we're not able to finish inside, then that's where we're looking to make our kickouts at that point in time.
What's your I guess defensive principle philosophy on like switching and I know you press, but like switching and do you prefer man to man or do you prefer to zone?
We've always been a man to man, and I just feel that man to man allows you to really compete. We tinker with zones, throughout the course of a season, and some teams do just an incredible job with zone. And I was on the boys' side for about the first 25 years at Castle, and man to man's basically that was our bread and butter. It's just you locking up. We're eye to eye, we're nose to nose, and you're just going to get in there. We're gonna battle, and we've always found that to be the best thing defensively for us. We've generally had at least the same number of athletes as who we would be playing, or maybe a few more. So that's something that we still feel like that we were able to do. Now, if that changes in the future, then we might need to look to go to zone. But right now, we feel that we're our best playing man-to-man defense. And in regards to switching, it's situational. Like say if a team has an advantage with their screener, a height advantage, and they do a great job of rolling and ducking into the post, then we're either going to have to get really good help side, from the weak side, or not switch it. But if we're if we're an inch or two in regards to height and people are screening us, then we'll probably look to switch everything.
Right now, knowing that you have this tough schedule ahead, and knowing that this is all for sectionals, is every game, are you pretty much using it as a chance to learn and try to implement new stuff and or know what teams are going to try to run against you?
Yes, yeah, that's we this year we asked the girls to kind of create a vision board for the team and for themselves, and I made one as an example for them of kind of how I want to look. And my short term goal is what we call patient progress, is that we've got to understand that along the way, we want to do our best and have as much success as we can, but we're building for something better. If you're going to say, hey, you could be 15-0 in the regular season and get beat in the sectionals, or you could be 5-15 in the regular season and win the sectional, I'm taking the latter. That's the fun of basketball. The regular season is, in my mind, is preparation for the postseason, and that's the way we've always dealt it, and that's the way we'll continue to do it along the way, as long as we have the personnel we have. I mean, the personnel we have, will allow us to do that, and they're competitive, and it's 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 been a good recipe for us so far, and we feel like we're in a position to be competitive at the end of the year again.
So that's really all I have prepared question wise. Is there anything you want to add, Coach?
No, this is awesome that you're doing this, and I'll be anxious to hear from the other ones that you have for the area coaches, and I don't know if you're just doing this on the girls' side or on the boys' side as well, but the girls' side is there's a lot of good area basketball on the girls' side with a lot of excellent coaches. So it's good that you're giving the girls a chance to be heard and giving coaches a chance to be heard, and it's just awesome to see this happening. So thank you for doing it, and if there's anything we can ever do for you, just please let us know.
Yeah, I'm doing it for both, but yeah, the girls and Southern Indiana both are kind of overlooked compared to the rest of the state.
Yes, we're very under it. It's yeah, whether Southern Indiana is just, especially from the girls' side and from the boys' side too, but from the girls' side more, there's not much south of Bedford. So
Yeah.
this is good.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming on, Coach. I've been Hunter Way at the Athletes Lounge podcast, and thanks, Coach.
Have a great day.
Hey guys, this is Hunter Way at the Athletes Lounge podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe where you can. Thanks.